Welcome to this episode of Dare to Soar, everybody. My name is Laura Beth Richardson, and I'm the Intermediate Dean at Pinnacle Classical Academy. Here with me today is our Elementary Dean, Ms. Kendra McGinnis. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. So what I'd like to talk about is y'all have had a lot of celebrations at your campus recently, and the biggest one, which is quite a feat, was the 100th day of school, correct?
Yes, the kids love the 100th day of school.
Now, I remember when my oldest had to dress up like he was 100 years old. When he was at the K-3 campus. Is that still a thing?
It is. Our kindergartners make 100th day t-shirts.
Gotcha.
Our first graders dress like 100-year-old people. Our second graders make hats with 100 items glued to them typically. And then our third graders this year decided they were 100 days brighter and they would all wear neon.
Oh, what a good idea.
Yeah.
So I just have to say, the photo of those kiddos sitting on the floor as 100-year-old people is killing me. The gray hair. And I'm sure seeing all of these folks getting out of the car in the morning. Oh, I even see some suspenders. So.
Yes, we had canes, we had walkers, we had gray wigs with rollers, the whole 9 yards. The kids had a great time.
That's hilarious. And it's hard to even think. I mean, it feels like just the other day we started the school year, and now it's March, and it's springtime, and the kids have been in school for 100 days, or 100 days brighter for sure. And you know, it's hard to imagine the time passing so fast. But when you cover as much as what we do in just one day, if you think about everything that they're covering in one day, they're definitely 100 days smarter.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I even saw some t-shirts that said it.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, and I think one of my favorite hats that I saw in these photos was the gumball machine. The 100,
Yes.
100 gumballs on top.
Yes, yes, or 100 straws that stuck straight up.
Oh my gosh.
Very cute.
Very creative.
Very creative.
Big shout out to our parents for helping with that at home. I hope you guys had just as much of a thrill of it that we did at school. And I think you said there were some walkers. And
Absolutely.
some canes. I think my son used a cane when it was his turn at that point. But anyway, too cute. Too cute. I love it. One thing that I just have to ask you, Ms. McGinnis, when Divine Reptiles visited your third grade group, did you hold any of the snakes that they brought with you? With them?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
They did try to talk me into holding a snake.
Oh my.
Look at no to the snakes and the tarantula and the scorpion.
That thing
No.
is as big as he is. Oh my goodness.
And that wasn't the biggest snake that the man from Divine Reptiles brought. There was one that weighed about 75 pounds that stretched over 8 or 9 kids held him at one time.
Oh my word. So this was your third grade crew?
It was.
Okay. So many moons ago when I taught third grade, we did a animal classification unit. And so I would imagine, and amongst many other things in the curriculum, this ties specifically with that possibly. And that is such a fun unit to teach. Of course, anything involving animals, the kids are all in, right?
Absolutely.
But one thing I love about our curriculum I will say, I mean, you know, it's very advanced, and I would say it's pretty fast paced. We move quickly, but our curriculum lends itself to the appropriate age group. So what I mean by that is when we're talking about animal classification with our third graders, it's telling the story through a specific lens. So if I remember correctly, I think it is Rattenborough, who is a little character. He's a little rat, and he's so cute in the little photos. And he's telling the kids, it's like it's written from his point of view, and he's talking to the kids about all the different types of animals and how you classify them. So they're learning this specific vocabulary, and even like the other characters have specific names. So when they're talking about birds, like classifying birds, the character that represents birds is Ebenezer Egret. And so they learn specifically about the egret. And so I just love that the types of things they're learning and the vocabulary they're exposed to is unreal. I mean, I remember my first year at Pinnacle, and I was reading through the curriculum. I thought, oh my goodness, this is third grade? Like a lot of the things that they're exposed to, you would automatically think, oh, this must be fifth grade or maybe middle school. But the types of things they cover, even with our young folks, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I agree.
So I'm sorry that you did not hold a snake. I'm shocked by that.
I'm not sorry at all. Not sorry at all.
I'm not too surprised. But maybe next time. Maybe next year, right?
Maybe next year. Goals. We'll see.
Oh, when I see a tarantula. Oh, and that is Miss Worthen. And my goodness, that is very brave of her.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I was shocked.
Oh my, yes. Goodness. So kudos to the folks that were brave enough to hold a snake or a tarantula. I think there's also, doesn't he bring a scorpion?
He does.
Oh my, yeah. So
He does.
maybe next year is your year, Miss McGinnis.
We'll see.
All right, folks, one thing that I want to bring to your attention, and this is going to be a little bit of a teaser because I don't have all the photos together yet. However, our fifth grade team is going to do their annual wax museum. So it's
The Wax
always,
Museum is so much fun.
it's wonderful. Our kids and our families that support their kids, it turns out so well. So folks at home, if you are not familiar with our fifth grade's Wax Museum project, it's something they do every year. And so at this point in the year, I mean, we're 100 years.
100 days.
100 days in. But 100 days in, lots of curriculum has been covered. And so what our fifth grade team does is they compile a list of historical figures specifically relating to our classical curriculum. So our students randomly choose a historical figure that they've heard about within their time at Pinnacle that is specifically related to our classical curriculum. And what they do is they research this person. They spend a lot of, I mean, they write something up, they make a poster, but the most exciting part is they become this person. And so what I mean by that is they're all lined up in the gym and they have their project there. They're dressed up. So for example, if somebody chose Abraham Lincoln, you could imagine what they may be dressed up like. They've got the tall hat, they've got the beard, you know, anything they can piece together to become that person. And so when you visit the Wax Museum, you go in front of a student and typically they have like a little button or something for you to press. So you press a button and they kind of come to life. And so they talk in first person. And so if you were to see Abraham Lincoln, you might press that button and they would say, "Hi, I'm Abraham Lincoln. I'm most known for," and they talk as if they are that person. And it's all memorized. They do not look at notes. So not only have they completed the project, they've met all these deadlines, they spend a lot of time practicing. So when it's time to actually put it into play, that is all from memory. Right. So again, super exciting stuff. It's definitely kind of a staple in our fifth grade for our fifth graders. And so I wanted to talk about it today so that I can show you photos when we're together again, because it is so well done. Our fifth grade team does a tremendous job planning that and organizing that. And I can't wait to tell you more about it and show
Absolutely.
you
I'm
more about
excited
it.
to see the pictures. I
Absolutely.
know even the 4th graders look forward to doing that in 5th
yeah.
grade.
And specifically, we have some of our middle and high school classes and our 4th graders, they walk through that. So our 4th graders know, hey, when I'm a big 5th grader, this is what I'm going to do. And then some of our middle schoolers and high schoolers, you hear them say, oh, I remember when I did this. And so again, just that feeling of community and looking back on something that they is familiar to them. It's all good. It's all good. And our parents come in, our grandparents come in. It's a big event, and the kids do a tremendous job. So I can't wait to show you more about that next time, folks. But at this time, we are out of time. So I'm going to wrap this up. Please stay tuned for our next section of Dare to Soar. Thanks for tuning in.
We always have had
That's
a
true.
certain courtesy to other people upon their retirement or somebody's passing.
Well, I got something nice to say about our retirement.
Well, we're not.
Good riddance.
I wish that you.
First, he put giant flagpoles on the White House lawn like it was a Buc-ee's, and then he cemented over the Rose Garden. Then he turned the Oval Office into a place that looks like a New Orleans cat house.
Well, I'm sure President Obama evaluated both candidates and went with the best one, better one.
Yeah, one of
But
them
I
had a D
was-
by her name.
Well, one cannot help but wonder why. Betsy, one possibility would be that the Hurricanes are now afraid to enter the newly named Gulf of America while Trump's in the White House.
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well,
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Someone once said that without music, life would be a mistake. And that's how we feel here on Face the Music. Hi, I'm Summer Castle-Keever, and I'd love for you to join me each month on our new program, Face the Music, which airs on C19 TV and C19.tv. Each month, we'll highlight the talents, personalities, and stories behind some of the area's most gifted singers, songwriters, and musicians. It's going to be a lot of fun, so join me each month for a new edition of Face the Music right here on C19.
Hello, welcome back to Dare to Soar. I'm Jeff Ziegler, Dean of Academics at Pinnacle Classical Academy, and today I'd like to talk about classical education, the purpose of classical education, and the stages of learning, something that distinguishes Pinnacle Classical Academy. Charter schools, as you likely know, are public schools open to one and all, but as charter schools, we have the freedom to offer a distinctive curriculum. And so for us, that's a classical curriculum at Pinnacle Classical Academy. What is classical education? What is the purpose of classical education? Mrs. Dellinger and I spoke a bit about this last month, but wanted to emphasize that in establishing Pinnacle Classical Academy, our school's founding board back in 2013 drew on the lost tools of learning, a lecture delivered by Dorothy Sayers at Oxford in 1947. And Sayers, at the end of Lost Tools of Learning, which you can find online, highly recommend, she concluded, for the sole true end of education is simply this: to teach men how to learn for themselves, and whatever instruction fails to do this is effort spent in vain. And so by end, she means purpose. The sole true purpose of classical education is to teach people how to learn for themselves. And so our purpose at Pinnacle Classical Academy is to teach students how to learn for themselves. That's what we're all about at Pinnacle. Another thinker who influenced our school's founders was Leonard Peikoff, author of Teaching Johnny to Think. And he saw education as the systematic training of the conceptual faculty of the young by means of supplying in essentials both its content and method. The purpose of education is to take a perceptual level creature and train him over many years to become a mature, cognitively self-sufficient, informed being. Now, Peikoff was a writer of philosophy. He uses more technical language than Sayers did. But what he means is that when a child is young, the child is perceptual level. That is, the child perceives, the child senses, sees and hears and feels things. And we know that from knowing young children. And then over years, over a period of years, we want the child to become a mature, cognitively self-sufficient, thinking for himself or herself, informed being. So Peikoff uses the same language, different language to get to the same concept of Sayers. The purpose of classical education is to teach students how to learn for themselves. Now, at Pinnacle Classical Academy, we take Dorothy Sayers' Lost Tools of Learning as a foundational document. And she believed that there were 3 stages of learning. She encouraged educators to work with human nature and not against it. And so she divided learning into 3 stages. She called them the grammar stage, childhood, the logic stage or dialectic stage, early adolescence, and finally what she called the rhetoric stage, later adolescence. And so in childhood, in the grammar stage, when children are sponges, Sayers encourages teachers really to emphasize learning what she calls the grammar, the basics, the foundations of English, history, math, science, art, and music, to memorize, to recite. So those things are emphasized at Pinnacle Classical Academy and at many other classical schools in childhood, in the grammar stage. And then in what Sayers calls the logic or dialectic stage, early adolescence, when children seem to delight in talking back and arguing, as many of us know from our everyday experience. Sayers encourages educators to work with human nature and not against it, and really to emphasize discussions in which students are challenged to back up their statements with reasoning. And then later on in adolescence, as students mature, comes what Sayers called the rhetoric stage. Students don't enjoy talking back so much as more in expressing themselves. And so in this stage in which students like more to express themselves, Sayers encourages teachers to emphasize presentations, speeches, independent research. And so in conclusion, these are areas of emphasis. These are not airtight compartments. So while memorization is emphasized in the grammar stage, it continues in the logic stage and in the rhetoric stage. But in sum, as classical educators at Pinnacle Classical Academy, we want students to be knowledgeable, we want them to be reasoning, and we want them to be articulate. So to know, to think, and to express themselves. And that's a big facet of what we are about as classical educators at Pinnacle Classical Academy. And After the break, we'll have Mr. Gosi and Mrs. Barnes.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. The sounds of tutoring and tech and health and fitness and arts and music. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Washington Outreach Ministries is one of the largest emergency food pantry in Cleveland County. We feed about 15,000 people a month. We have bi-weekly distribution every other Friday, and we serve them with all type of product, not just food product, but all type of necessities. Anything that they need, we have here and we can supply it. Food is available every day, but we offer bi-weekly distribution so the mass of Cleveland County can come through and enjoy some of the food products that we have here. And one of the main things that we need that sometimes people don't like to talk about is funding. We do fundraisers. We appreciate donations. Anybody that want to donate time and money, they're welcome.
Good morning, how you doing? Here we go.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to this month's episode of our athletic segment of Dare to Soar. I'm Katie Barnes, Student Success Coordinator at Pinnacle Classical Academy, and I'm joined here with Mr. Brandon Gosi, our Athletic Director.
Glad to be here.
We're excited to share a lot of updates with you guys this month, starting with our JV girls basketball. We want to give a special shout out to these wonderful girls here. Congrats to our junior varsity Lady Eagles for finishing the basketball season in second place at our conference championship game
Awesome
earlier.
job
So
for sure, yeah.
They've done a fantastic job. You can see all of them lined up here with their coaches, all smiles. So that's been really exciting for them. Congrats to our girls.
Absolutely. They had a great season. We also want to highlight not only our JV, but our varsity girls basketball team. We have a picture of them coming up for you. They also just completed their conference season and came in runner-up as well. So it's always a little bit disappointing not to get that top spot, but congratulations to both of those teams on a great season. We also want to highlight some of our all-conference varsity basketball players. We've got a photo of those ladies. First team all-conference was Lily Wellman and Nyla Littlejohn. Second team all-conference was Miss Kyla Ray and Adriana Mullinax. And then not to be topped off by that, Miss Nyla Littlejohn there on the end, you can see her with the trophy in her hand. She also was our player of the year for the entire conference. So not only was she all-conference, she was voted the top player of the entire varsity conference. And so what a feat for her, because not only obviously is that a great honor to have, but she's a ninth grader.
Yes.
So can you imagine being a ninth grader and be voted the top player in your conference?
Yes.
So congratulations to her.
Absolutely. They've done a wonderful job. We're
It was
very
a
proud
great
of
season.
them.
Absolutely.
Yes, right out the gate. It was wonderful. We also want to give a special shout out and congratulations to our very own Braylon Gentry for being named the second team all-conference player at the WPAC Conference Championship very recently. So we're extremely proud of him and his hard work and his dedication. This picture just sums him up so well. He just goes after it with all his energy that he has. We're very proud of him.
And our fans out there might remember us highlighting Braylon just a few weeks ago when he scored his 1,000th point
Yes.
for basketball. So what a great season for him. We do want to kind of shift gears from our winter sports into spring, and so we're going to talk about our archery team, which is highly decorated. You've heard us talk about them before, but we've got indoor competition has been going on, and so we want to highlight a few of those individuals. So up first is Miss Briley Gladden. She recently competed in the North Carolina S3DA Archery Indoor State Championship and walked away as state champion in her age group. So congratulations to Briley. You can see her there with those trophies maybe as tall as she is.
I think so. That one on the right for sure
Almost.
is inching up there.
Congratulations to her as well. Great job.
Up next, we want to give a special shout out to Ansley Kilby. She recently competed and won the North Carolina S3DA Female Young Adult Indoor State Championship with an outstanding score as well. She, 150, I believe, was her final score in the end. An incredible accomplishment. We're so proud of her. We're excited to see more athletic success stories from these kiddos to come. And I know we have one more, Mr. Gosey, to acknowledge. Mackenzie Glenn. I have known her for several years now, and in addition to the other two we've highlighted, Mackenzie is the North Carolina State S3DA Indoor Archery. She's the champion.
Yeah, for her age group as well.
Yes.
And so there's a middle, elementary, and high when they do those state champions at the S3DA, and so it's a little bit different. But she's also got a pretty impressive accolade already. And can you share with that?
She does. Well, and I know with securing this championship title, I think her personal best score, 150.
Sure.
Personal best for her. And what's sweet about Mackenzie too is she is just calm, cool, collected. I see her on the hallways. So to be able to see her and pass her and congratulate her on such an accomplishment is a really cool thing. But we're very...
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe she is the reigning national champion. So not only is she state, but she's expanded that to the national level. So congratulations to all of those, Mackenzie, Briley, and Ansley. Great job, ladies.
We're so proud of them.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am. So we are going to transition a little bit from sports. It's crazy to think just last week we had snow on our ground, and tonight, as we're recording, is our first varsity baseball game against Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy. But we are in full swing and gear of our 50-50 annual raffle, where the athletic department is doing its part, along with our coaches and athletes, to raise some funds to support the athletic department. And so you got to see a picture here of our tickets, but we are so honored that Cleveland Community College has partnered with Pinnacle again for the second year to be a sponsor of our tickets. So kudos to them, and thank you. It takes a lot of money to make things happen in sports. A lot of people don't really understand all the facets that come into play, from officials to landscaping to the little small things of custodial care and help. So every little bit you guys can do to help us push these tickets, and even buy one from an athlete when you see them, would be a tremendous help and benefit to the athletic department.
Absolutely.
So kudos to all our athletes.
I think, Mr. Gosey, the drawing is planned tax day.
On tax day, right. So I'm not quite sure if we have a game or not that day, but how cool would it be to win, I hope, a lot of money, but at least a few $1,000s on tax day to be able maybe to pay your tax bill.
That's right. That'd be exciting. I know just around my hall of the building yesterday, several of our younger middle school athletes came by and they said, Coach Barnes, I'm ready to turn these 9 into Mr. Gosey and get another round of tickets to sell. They're so eager, and it's neat to see them excited for our school and our athletics program, and reaching out to the people that they know to get that support and sell these tickets. So that's the goal.
We got a busy spring season. It's here. It's coming up. It's still cold outside.
That's right.
But the baseball and softball balls are hitting, so we're ready to roll.
That's right. Well, I think we're out of time today, Mr. Gosey.
It goes quick.
Thank you all for joining us for this March episode of Dare to Soar. We look forward to seeing you next time.